The Creative Collective is a networking group for creative businesses. And this is their podcast.
Episode 34. Here we are. Here we are.
I've gone.
We are talking today about marginal gains.
Is that a cricket term?
Well, it's a sporting term. I'll
It is,
talk
isn't
about. Do you know where it comes from?
Isn't it that cycling bloke?
Yeah, Dave Brailsford.
Yes, Team Sky.
That's it. Yeah. So
Never heard of it.
No. He had a huge amount of success talking about marginal gains, the 1%
Yep.
that add up. So the small things that you can do that make a big impact. So with that in mind,
atomic habits.
pretty much it's all kind of similar, isn't it? It's all the books have been written on this, but we're going to talk about.
We're going to talk about it anyway.
Well, the last episode 33, we were talking about values, and one of your values was originality.
Yes.
So we thought it would be really original and talk about something that hasn't been discussed too much. Marginal gains. I don't know if you've heard of it. No, the small things in our business that make a big difference. And you've made a couple of notes on this just to get ourselves started.
I have.
And I've got some thoughts too. So after you.
So I focused heavily on equipment.
Yeah.
For this. And some of them really are marginal gains. But when you think about it over, I might have these pieces of equipment for 10, 15 years because some of them do something very basic. I think they will all pay off. And it's not necessarily about the few seconds or minutes that you save sometimes. It's about making the process more fluid and smoother without, I don't know what you call them, stumbling blocks or blockers in the way sort of thing. So I've got a list of 3, and this will hopefully lead me on to a few things. So the first one is, I was going to start with this one. It's called the big knob.
Yeah. Why are you laughing? I can't think why you'd be laughing at the big knob.
I don't know.
He's gone.
So it's made by Mackie, which is obviously a big supplier of audio equipment, especially live stuff. But the reason I got this is because my audio interface, I have some monitor speakers to edit with, and obviously got headphones as well. My audio interface hasn't got a mute button to be able to mute the speakers. If I've got music on, I have to turn a dial down or turn the speakers off, answer the phone, for example. Need to cut that music. So what I did, I bought the Mackie Big Knob because it has a mute button. That's the only reason. Because I saw myself leaning slightly across my desk and turning the volume down, and then afterwards having to turn it back up to wherever I needed it. Yeah. Whereas I just go ka-cheek, and then it's there. It just cuts it.
Okay.
And it's less about leaning or the few seconds that it takes. It's just making the process, making my life easier, I think is the way of thinking about it, in any way possible. And I'm at that point now where they really are marginal gains because I've got everything else in place. So anything like that I spot, I guess one of the biggest ones to start with would have been, I used to print all my scripts out and sit down and mark them with where I need to go up, down, pause, all that sort of stuff. But now what I do, there's a monitor in my booth now. I didn't used to have a monitor in there. So I don't need to print anything off, which is obviously great. I don't know whether that is negated by the amount of electricity for an extra monitor, but I'm trying my best. And I write on the screen, wipe it off afterwards. And that saves me, over the course of the year, a lot of paper, a lot of ink, and a lot of time printing and
fat.
Exactly. And then storage afterwards if I want to keep those scripts. So it's all things like that, really. And I think this next one is what a lot of people are using is a Stream Deck. So for programming in a thing on the desk with lots of buttons on it, and you can make them look nice and have writing on them. Set up lots of shortcuts and macros within my editing software. So that's probably, in terms of amount of time saved, that's probably the best one because rather having to go through menus or keyboard shortcuts, one touch of a button and it does a sequence of something. But you have to spot those things. And sometimes it can take years to spot those things or realize that there's a solution. So I think in summary for my stuff, I really focus on the tech side of it. And I'm at the point where it is little things to make my life feel more pleasant and easier.
What about on, I mean, I would say that's very much on the practice side of what you're doing. What about on the marketing side? Has there been small things, tiny adjustments over the years that marginally are tiny but has made a huge difference overall?
Oh, yeah.
So for instance, I know you're quite big into cold emailing or that process. So that could be something as simple as changing a line here, changing a line there, making it tighter over here, just over time. Tiny adjustments, but maybe you look at that original email you sent and then the one maybe a year after, and it's a totally different email and a lot better because of those small things, or anything like that you can think of.
Yes, and there's two parts of it actually. So I was doing a lot of cold emailing, 18 months ago, but it was a very long-winded paragraphs of emails because that's what I'd learned from this.
You did a course, didn't
this
you?
course that I did, and it did work to a degree. I got a bit of work from it, but the amount of time that went into it every time I was doing a mail out was just too much.
Yeah.
So each time it built up into this big deal, this big job that I had to do every month, and it became not sustainable. So I changed it completely.
Sorry to interrupt. Would it be more sustainable if what you were selling would be big ticket? So because that's one way around, isn't it? Because with voiceover, I presume a lot of it is quite small ticket, but volume.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're doing that and you're getting a couple of bites, well, it's not worth it. But if you get one or two huge jobs from it, then maybe there's something.
Yeah. So the jobs that I got from it were not budget, but not big budget.
Okay.
But in terms of the hours that went into it,
it
would have made the hourly rate, pennies, probably. So I've changed tack completely. At the end of last year. I've started using an automated process, and with that, you can tailor the email, because that was all those emails. Every single one was tailored to the person that it was going to, and that's where the time went in. So I've really sort of cut back on the personalization on that. So the content of the email was changed, and I've gone much more down, going back to values from the previous episode 33, leaning into my creativity, personality, originality, that sort of thing. So literally I'm trying to filter people out straight away by the subject of the first email. So I'm contacting videographers, and it says something like another email from yet another voice actor, or something like that. So it's trying to make it a bit fun.
So it's knowing it's straight away you got an in rather than
if they're not interested, and they're not interested, but they still get another email, because that was the other part of it. The sequence now, I don't have to do it manually. All those emails are in the sequence. I'm using something called Apollo. And if they reply, it takes them out of the sequence. They don't get any more emails.
That's amazing.
If they don't reply, they get the next one until the sequence ends.
Okay, that's good.
So it's twofold.
Yeah. Well, that's a perfect example. Doing something, working out what's worked, what hasn't worked, and then just changing it slightly. And then no doubt in a year's time, you'll probably tweak that. Tiny things over a period of time.
So that's sending 25, 30 emails a day for me. And most days I don't even have to look at it. Just wait for the responses to come in. And they do come in. Yeah.
That's great. Apollo, I might look at that. My outreach is, I was doing this the other day actually. Mine's more personalised. And I suppose it actually isn't cold emailing really. This is more just keeping leads warm, and people and customers warm. And I will, I've got a sort of a spreadsheet now. And talking about marginal gains, this is something that I brought in reasonably recently, is that when piece of work has been signed off from a client, I'll add them to the spreadsheet. And then that will be an email asking them for a review. And then when I've done that, if they haven't responded, or they have, or they've done a review, it'll all be added up. And then I can, if they haven't, in 6 months' time, that gives me another chance to say, oh, hi, we haven't been. And it's just my process of keeping in contact with people, because and I keep a log of every single shoot I do over the years. So, for instance, if I'm doing my January mail out to customers, I just go through and I thought, right, I enjoyed working with them, and just add them to the list, and then do a sort of personalised.
Have you got a list of people that you didn't enjoy working with?
Oh, God, yeah.
That's amazing, because I've never had a follow-up email from you, so that means you didn't enjoy working with me.
If I did an email to you, it would be the oddest email in the world, because we literally speak every 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Apart from around the hours of 10 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be weird. But yeah, I suppose that's another example, isn't it? Tweaking those processes.
Yep.
Working out where you're potentially leaving money on the table, I suppose.
And there's a lot of people looking into automation and stuff now as well. And there's some things, sorry everyone, AI stuff as well you could look at. So, and I think I might have mentioned this on a call before, but I've used it for very boring tasks that I wouldn't hire someone to do. And the only reason is because it seems silly, but because it's from the creative collective side. So there's not a pot of money waiting to be spent on hiring people, because we've blitzed it all basically on McDonald's breakfasts. But an example would be, after the meetings before AI became a real big thing, I would go through the chat file, taking out all the stuff in Microsoft Word by myself, and leaving in all the business details, formatting it and whatever. But now I just copy and paste it into Copilot, and it does it for me. So probably some days will save me 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's massive.
It's not marginal, is it? It's
what's the opposite to marginal? Maximal.
Yeah.
Well, maximum, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's maximum gains.
But I'm sure there's other things that people use it for that are marginal, but it saves them minutes,
Okay, so maybe for the next batch of episodes, we could talk about the maximum gains, like the game changers in our business that we thought, wow, that has literally changed everything overnight. That'd be interesting, but we'll come back to that.
I've got one of those already.
Have you?
Yeah. I'm not telling you.
No.
It's not the right episode.
Park it for episode. It would be episode 40 odd, I suppose, by the time this.
Do you know? I'll just tell you what it is. It was meeting you.
Well, we don't need to discuss that episode now, do we? That's that dumb.
Have you got any others?
So, I'll circle back to what you were talking about and processes, because that's a big thing with editing. So, something as simple as changing the shortcuts on your keyboard. That's that's massive.
Yeah.
Because once you get into the flow of that, and that becomes second nature. It's a bit like when you're typing an email. If you actually think about what you're doing, it gets slower. But you've just done it so much, it's just sort of subconscious. And that's how editing can be if you get your shortcuts set up. And there's probably, to be honest, there's probably some more work I can do on my shortcuts. But even learning a new shortcut, if you're thinking about something, that's got to be quicker. Surely there's a tactic or a strategy to make this. If I haven't thought of it, someone else has. So that's when you sort of do a bit of research. So yeah, editing has massively sped up. I think actually a marginal gain is, especially with video editing, is just because of the amount you do it, you pick up patterns.
Yep.
And especially if you've got a style of work, like if I'm looking for sound bites, I know what I'm looking for. And then as soon as I hear a soundbite, I know that that's, say, the closing line of the film, the video. And that's only because I've done it, over and over again. I know what I'm looking for.
So is there anything in your technique that you've changed that's given you a marginal gain for things like the editing side of things?
This is a maximum gain, but editing by transcription's just huge.
Okay.
Yeah. That's not something that's new, but that's something I've really lent into recently, because I originally tried it and I couldn't really get on with it. But as I've got a bit better at it, that's just, and if for anybody who doesn't know, that's basically you get transcription of, say, a talking head, and you see a line and you can literally copy and paste it straight into the timeline. So you're,
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah.
So your assembly cut, your first cut of sound bites, if you're going through an hour's worth of footage, well, you can, and before transcription, you literally had to listen. Or, of course, if you were really organised on a shoot, or you had an assistant on a shoot, they could be making notes of nice sound bites. But still, you would generally just watch everything through. So you could literally be watching an hour's worth of sound talking heads, and now you can do a 20-minute talking head in 5 minutes. Obviously, you're massively editing those after, but in terms of what's on the timeline, it speeds things up.
Yeah.
And we come back to AI. Now, the trouble is if we're talking about AI, as soon as people hear AI, they get quite triggered. I think the AI that we're talking about is automation. AI is such a massive thing. Image generation and video generation is obviously AI, but also automation. Now, but to me, they're two separate things. AI is automation, and that kind of thing that adds to the creativity rather than taking away.
Yes, using it to free up more time and brain space to do that cool stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a couple of things. There's a couple of starters for 10.
Could something like something for your well-being be a marginal? I know we talked about where it came from at the beginning, sports-based, but like I've put in place in the past month or so, because I used to go out walking a couple of times a week at lunch, but if work came in, I would always prioritise that work. But now I block that time.
Yeah.
Must go for a walk. So it's Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, and I've stuck to it. And that's a very slight change, but it's giving me more focus for the afternoon when I come back to work, because I'm not just still in that headspace of work.
Yeah.
It's like the refresh, the reset.
Yeah.
Is that marginal? Because it's pushing me with a better mindset into the afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, I think that as soon as you can put health before wealth, you're actually putting wealth before, you're actually helping your wealth anyway, because you can't do anything if you're unwell. You can't do anything if you're physically unable to do stuff. So I think prioritizing your health is one of the best things you can do for your business. So you by doing that, I wouldn't say it's marginal. I would say that's again maximum, because it means that you can be healthy for longer.
The change is little.
The changes.
A bigger result.
The mindset is a very small mindset change, but massive change. Yeah.
Okay.
I had that yesterday. I had some work to do, and I thought, and I was up early for networking, so I couldn't have a ride early morning. And I don't know why, but if I can,
Ben's got a scooter in case you're worrying about that.
An electric scooter. Health before wealth, mate.
Do love money though.
And if I can get something done before work, before anything, that's fine. But if, for whatever reason, if it gets to around lunchtime, my energy just goes. And anyway, but I couldn't do it before networking. And I thought, I've got work to do. And I can't really be bothered to go for a ride. But I thought, no, I should do, because like we were just saying, if I don't look after myself, especially being self-employed, that work won't be there anyway. So it's just reframing everything.
You just refer it to Nikki. It's fine.
That's true. Yeah, good. Nikki will take it, and she's fit and healthy, so she'll be able to take the work. So it's a small reframe, but it's big overall, I suppose.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so to recap, your marginal gains was your big knob. I've been waiting.
You've had that set from the first minute.
I've been waiting 19 minutes for that.